Well, it's a little bit bigger, this one. This is the Osmose, and it's got an extra octave on it, right? Attack velocity, key release velocity, initial pressure, and then secondary pressure and left to right. So there's a lot of axis of expression. That was created using one of the new editors, is that right?
Exactly. So we chose the modules that we want to have in it. We choose the patch connections that we want and give you an easily programmable interface.
Behind it is still the EaganMatrix, but in front of it is this more sort of easily accessible kind of thing.
You're going to have a specific platform for doing all the editing. So the virtual analog is just the first one that's going to be coming out. We vastly expanded the ecosystem on the side of external software as well. So next thing I want to show you is something that is really, really new. We'll bring MAESTRO brass ensembles at your fingertips. We also worked on electric keyboards.
Bend as well, nice. So lots of stuff going on with Expressive E then. Lovely, Chris. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Chris is here from Expressive E, and you may have noticed he's playing, well, it's a little bit bigger, this one. This is the Osmose, and it's got an extra octave on it, right?
Exactly. So this is the Osmose 61, as opposed to the Osmose 49 that existed already since a bit. We've been here 2 years ago to show the finished thing, and some years before to show a prototype.
That's right, yeah.
And we just got more real estate now to play on.
So, I mean, aside from that, is there anything else different, or is it just a kind of more keys?
Compared to the Osmose 49, it's actually the same, but I'm here to show you, besides the new instrument, also all the things that have evolved in the last years and months, how the whole ecosystem, how it has evolved.
Yeah, because I mean, there's been a lot. I mean, you've opened your own factory as well, so you now manufacture these sort of in-house. You're not offloading it around.
Yeah.
That's a big deal for starters. But there's lots of stuff going on with the software as well, right?
Exactly. So what it is still, so that everybody knows what it's about, it's a synthesizer, standalone synthesizer. At the same time, it doubles as a MIDI controller, or more specifically also as a MIDI polyphonic expression, MPE, that cool buzzword, controller. What we have here is the 61 key version, as I said. And the thing that is cool about it is that basically it's got the traditional keyboard layout, just your normal keyboard that you can play on just as with any other keyboard as well.
Very familiar.
But it's got a specific augmented keyboard action we built ourselves, and that nowadays we manufacture even ourselves and assemble it, not in Shanghai anymore, but now in our own factory in Poland. So all the stuff that's going to be coming from us now is...
perhaps give us a sort of idea, because I mean, people may recognize this. If you haven't seen the Osmose in action, perhaps we can just have a quick recap of what each key can do.
Of course. So it's a gesture-sensitive keyboard. So as soon as I brush a key, let's say here, you have a sound. In this case, I can also shake the key to have this lovely interaction. I can go into the aftertouch. I can play vibrato directly on the key itself. So even just with one note, it offers lots of fun to play with. And if I want to take this further,
velocity, key release velocity, initial pressure, and then secondary pressure and left to right. So there's a lot of axis of expression on there, and I think that's what makes. I mean, you probably will have seen this before, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of how much expression that you've got in there. And this is all running off the Harken engine that's in the hardware as well.
It is.
Right?
So on the one hand, you have this augmented keyboard action that we came up with. And on the other hand, you have the sound engine that is included, and it's the EaganMatrix, even written there by Harken Audio.
Yeah.
And this is very nice because Harken Audio, they did a tremendous work already since the 80s, because they always had this gesture-driven music making in the electronic music world in their mind. And the EaganMatrix, which came around, like it's part of their Continuum fingerboards actually at Harken Audio. You know, these neoprene surfaces. It came out like 2008. And since then, there's been so much development going on, expanding the engine, because it's a digital modular synthesizer engine. It does FM synthesis, physical modeling. It does subtractive synthesis, additive, granular,
but it's also a very high resolution degree of control, which is the sort of main.
That as well. It's got a specific, in the keyboard itself, it's got a specific interaction, which they call MPE Plus. So you get a wonderful resolution, a wonderful gesture interaction.
Yeah.
So part of the wondrous thing about the engine is that it's so versatile. It's got all kinds of different sounds. And the other part is really that it's been made for gesture from the beginning on. So I can show you another example.
Yes.
Before I was showing like some shake interaction and how it already reacts to your lightest touch. Now just going to play away with a more aggressive sound and apply some vibrato. So you see that.
Interesting. That was contextual portamento as well, wasn't it? So
exactly. So it's a feature because we have this segmented surface still on the key bed side. You can't do glides directly on the keys, but what you can do in a kind of a seesaw movement between the keys, the more I apply pressure to the next note.
The speed of the pressure denotes the speed of the portamento.
So I can go very fast, go very slow. Yeah, it's an immediate control and it flows naturally.
So obviously, you know, you're improving the hardware, you've got an extra octave, you know, I'm guessing players were asking for that because obviously you can play, I mean, there's lots of different synthesis methods in here, isn't there? There's the sort of the more physical modeling type stuff, and then there's the more things that sort of maybe a more traditional keyboard sound.
Yeah.
So you want more keys for those, a lot of people, right?
Yes, so this is for those who are more in the keyboardist side of things. But at the same time, what I want to highlight, especially today, because it's kind of a misconception, I think, is that you don't have to be like a proficient keyboard player to get fun out of this. So if I'm just using this next sound here, if I was just taking one note to play with. So just with some notes, or I could use them played as a pad, like this.
Yeah, and it's about the expression rather than maybe the flashy technique in this case, right?
And here it's all the same preset, so I can play both aggressive stuff if I want to take more of an approach of a keyboardist. So lots of interactions on all kinds of different levels.
You sort of,
playing.
I mean, it's very, you know, you demonstrate it beautifully, and it's one of those things that when you actually try it yourself, you go, ooh, because sometimes some of the patches in here can transition almost from one sound to an extremely different sound, and the travel between them, you can, you know, it's great for sort of picture or motion when you're trying to make some sort of emotive thing happen, you can do it very easily with a single finger, effectively.
Exactly, and at the same time, also what we made sure is that the playing interface always accommodates your level of expertise with the instrument, but also the specific situation you're in. So it's important to note, because obviously when we look at a lot of demonstrations, mine included, sometimes the pitch goes a little bit off, so people they play, they get.
Is it hard to play? You can dial that in or out, can't you?
Exactly. So what we've made sure is that there's a dedicated sensitivity menu for this, and there's quite a sophisticated settings that you can choose. So generally, you can always choose your default sensitivity that lets you grow with the instrument, because at first you might be
within the boundaries. Yeah.
And at the same time, what I'm doing also for this demonstration, you can save with every of the presets your own custom sensitivity. So if I were in a situation where I know I don't want to play that much of a vibrato, I can deactivate the sideways bending completely. So no matter how I shake, you still have the wonderful interaction, but you don't have to worry that you're playing out of tune. At the same time, when I'm using, just like I did before, more kind of a lead sound, I chose to have a relatively high sensitivity. So there it's on 2 semitones. It can actually go, up 2 octaves or even more. For more experimental stuff. But it's just important to know that I can always dial it into my specific needs, so don't need to be afraid of the whole thing.
And this will output MIDI. It's got DINs and also USB, so you can get it into.
Yeah, sure. You can use it with external software as well, both downwards compatible for traditional MIDI, but also with poly aftertouch. If, let's say, you have a Prophet Rev 2 that has poly aftertouch in the engine, but the keyboard doesn't have it. With the new updates, and we're going to come to that later on, you can also save your own external MIDI presets. So you can custom it, let's say in OB6 or so, you will have MPE, but it's only going to be 6 voices. So you can dial it down that it only sends on those 6 channels that are used.
Okay, that makes sense.
And so on and so forth. Yeah.
But I mean, you've partnered up with a number of different software houses to sort of to make a good pairing between the Osmose, what the Osmose offers, and what they can accept in terms of.
Yeah, we'll look into this later on. What I'd first like to do is just show all the stuff that's been new since we came together last time. On the one hand, we've worked on the operating system. So what we didn't have before is you can easily add a preset from one of the 580 presets now to your favorites. You can also add it to a playlist, which is what I'm doing here for the presentation, so I have them ready. And then we've reworked the whole preset system, so now the unit fits 2,000 presets.
Oh, right.
If you have one, which is nice. We've added the press glide, the feature that you've seen before. So it works with external MIDI, with MPE synthesizers as well.
Okay.
This includes also the MPE arpeggiator that's in the machine. So I can have a quick look at this as well. Let's see. So right now I'm using it with the internal engine, but it's there in the external MIDI as well. And in this case, I'm not controlling the pitch because I deactivated it, but I'm introducing some ratcheting with a sideways movement. And here we could have a look at how on the engine itself you can work with macros to shape your sound.
That's pretty transformative, isn't it? Yeah.
This all hides in the playing menu, so if I go here, so this is also where I made the assignment of the left bend to the
Oh,
ratcheting.
right, to the ratchet, okay. Oh, so you've got... Oh, okay,
Yeah.
bend left, so, okay, interesting. So, I mean, notice there, the macros, because, I mean, per patch, the macros are kind of assigned at a sort of a level that is not immediately accessible to the user, but as you could see, the ones that were chosen there had a very transformative nature of the sound.
Yeah, sure. So what we specialize in Expressive E is the interaction between the keyboard and the synthesizer, which is always the most important to us, to have this kind of immediate feeling from it. And this applies also to the markers, so they have to be useful immediately for your expressive playing on the keyboard. And these are pre-chosen by the sound designers. So we really specialize on the one hand into the mechanics, this interaction with the augmented keyboard, but also the sounds have to feel immediate and work really well with your playing, no matter if you're like a beginner or producer just searching for sounds, or a more virtuosic keyboard player.
Right.
That's the idea behind this. If you want to really dig deep into all the functionality, you would use the Haken editor,
Which is right behind us.
which is right behind us. It's an application that you hook up to the Osmose and allows you to use the same tools as our sound designers.
I mean,
but it's very mighty. Yeah.
It's very mighty. I mean, we're not going to pretend that it's not dense and perhaps a little hard to use for the uninitiated, I think would be a polite way of putting it. I mean, it's quite a learning curve to it, but what you can achieve with it is very impressive.
Yeah, and especially with the latest update that we put out for the firmware 6 months ago, we really vastly expanded on the side of the engine. And this also is available, obviously, in the Haken editor then. What we added is a pulse width modulation oscillator. You have per voice, bit crusher, pitch shifter, and saturation effect.
Right.
You have this globally on an output stage as well, so it's a 10H saturation, which sounds a bit warmer. You have 2 new ladder filters, and you have a completely reworked.
So you're sort of working
reverb algorithms.
You're working with Haken.
We're working with Haken Audio, so it's
right,
still
okay.
a long-term cooperation with them, and all these add-ons that were made on the DSP side, because the last update included also this update of the DSP, it really benefited mostly the virtual analog side of things. And I actually have a nice example of this as well, of a sound that was built with the new features of the engine. So let's have a listen to this.
Lovely. I mean, it sounded quite elegant. I mean, is some of that just the sort of not the wonkiness that you can make by playing, and some of it's also inside the actual synthesis?
It's kind of a vintage natural pitch drift that's part of the new DSP feature. So it's actually mapped to the mod wheel here.
Right, okay.
Or if I'm looking into, well, it's called not that exact vibrato in this case, but what it actually, you're going to notice if I'm playing like this.
Yeah, it's a bit tighter on pitch, isn't it?
Yeah, and if I'm going all the way up.
Yeah, it's less exact.
My girlfriend was actually, when I was preparing this excerpt, I was playing back with that vibrato turned up, playing the exact thing. She said, "Oh, that sounds a little bit off." So you might say as well that it's detuned.
Yeah,
but I think it really brings that analogish warm character that perhaps before the updates some were missing, because
Yeah, I
they're
mean, I
saying on this
suppose because
virtual analog sound is what not
this is
up.
based on physical modelling as well, isn't it? So you've got a lot. There's a lot of sort of what sound like, you know, strings and wind and bowed, and there's all of that stuff in there as well. And so this just adds an extra flavour, right?
Yeah, and we really think that now it's really a wonderful sounding thing. And well, this was part of 18 new presets that were part of the last update as well. And they came, a fun fact more or less, they came out of a collaboration more or less with Hans Zimmer. So there's a video about this. So,
yes, of course, because the Dune soundtrack was used extensively, wasn't it? Yeah.
So if you remember Guillaume, perhaps from our very first video.
Yes. He was crouched
the
on the floor.
Yeah,
with
so
the laptop.
The EaganMatrix was still external in a little box that was 3D printed, and he had to configure it all the time. When was it? 2019 or something. And well, he was invited, and together with Christophe Duquesne from Haken Audio, to work with Hans Zimmer on the Dune 2 soundtrack. So this is what inspired these sounds as well.
Nice. So I sort of skirted around the issue that the EaganMatrix is a little dense for people to deal with, but I've heard rumours about new skins and new editors. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, because the EaganMatrix of the Haken editor specifically is such a deep engine, that deep editor to work with. We once you came up with something that was demanded a lot, having an easier access. So something that goes in between, like the direct on instrument macro twisting and the profound editing. And I'm going to show you a prototype of what we are working on right now, the Osmose instrument editors. It's going to be a suite of several editors. But since it's a prototype, we've got to just change over the instrument to something that has that's specifically suited to do that. Okay. But it's going to be workable from the 61 as well, of course.
Nice. So back to the 49. That was a voice, another virtual analog voice that was created using one of the new editors. Is that right?
Exactly. So this one used one of the new Osmose instrument editors, and this is something that we worked hard together with Haken Audio. So what they did, they offered us a means to have much more macros to get into all the nitty-gritty things.
So it's like a reskin of their editor to make it sort of easier. So that was done using a sort of virtual analog editor for the Haken.
Yeah.
Can we have a look at it?
Sure. So the idea is you have, in the truest sense of the word, a real patch in the background of the EaganMatrix. So we chose the modules that we want to have in it. We choose the patch connections that we want and give you an easily programmable interface.
So this is a sort of 3D render type.
That's just the 3D render. I'm afraid that's not going to be able purchasing, but just to give you an overview over the functionality that you're going to have, you will have the 3 oscillators. One where you choose your waveforms between, well, you know, it's sawtooth, sine, triangle, and so on. You've got 2 either PWM oscillators, or they can be DSF as well, where you're going from the sine to something with more harmonic content. You have the mixer section. There's noise that you can blend in. Well, the concept is pretty common, which was the whole idea behind it. You have a filter with all your high-pass, low-pass, standard EaganMatrix filters, but also the new ladder filters. Obviously, all the functionality that came in with the newest update is in there as well. You have a drive or vintage section where you can apply some basic detune to it, where you can use a feedback from the filter into it.
Right.
And the one thing that is really interesting is we have the 2 envelopes, so one for the amp, one for modulation. The cool thing is that we call these ADCR envelopes, because instead of having this fixed sustain, it's always the pressure or the aftertouch that you're using to modulate the sound. So just to have a look at this, when you're going on each of those parameters, you'll be able to modulate them from your continuous movement. And when you open a parameter, you're going to see that you have the pressure, the aftertouch that you can apply to make.
Right. So it just make it, I mean, behind it is still the EaganMatrix,
Yeah.
but in front of it is this more sort of easily accessible kind of thing.
Exactly. We're going on, well, with the LFO, with the fixed pitch modulation as well. There are some convolutions for drive. There are two types of reverbs, so they all rely on the matrix as well. You have either a chorus or a delay, and you have the output stage with an EQ, basic shelving EQ, all the stuff that you have in the matrix, but you don't have to
these kind of reflect what you see in some of the macros for patches in the hardware. Right, okay.
But still, as it is built all around the EaganMatrix, you're still able to use all the functionality. I can still dial in directly from the interface, my reverberation effects and so on. I could also still use a
polyglide, right?
It's just a blast to program it intuitively, and this is something that the community really asks for, to have something where their own sounds.
So these editors, are they running like a VST, or are they standalone? How do they? You don't have to load the EaganMatrix to access them.
No, so practically these are going to be standalone applications.
Just talk MIDI to the
exactly.
Right, okay.
You dial it up on your computer. You can program the stuff, and
that will be programming the hardware, the synthesizer that's inside the Osmose, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you're going to have a specific platform for doing all the editing. So the virtual analog is just the first one that's going to be coming out. We hope like end of Q1, beginning Q2 of 2026. We're going to have a specialized programming interface for electric keys, electric pianos type of sounds, a physical modeling one that's going to take care of clavinet sounds, a plugged one that's going to the realm of like harp, guitarish sounds, music box for mallets or belly things, and one for wind instruments, blow instruments. Well, you have a basic browser with this, so you'll be able to...
This is what it's going to look like.
Yeah, sure. Change between the sounds and save it directly from the editor.
And you'll be able to save those into the hardware as well? Okay,
sure.
Happy days.
Of course, yeah.
Great.
Quite a lot happening there on the side for the internal engine. So it's something that we keep on working with Eagan.
Right, so this is currently working, because obviously you've programmed that sound using not that interface yet, but you've got something else. Have you got
I mean, just from the looks, for now it's a prototype. So, well, it's functional, but it's not as beautiful, obviously, as the interface I was showing you.
We won't focus on that too much.
But our poor sound designers, they have to work with this for now,
Right, okay. So this will be available, like you say, next year. And this is all part of the roadmap, where as soon as you begin to open up the synthesis functions of the extremely powerful EaganMatrix, things will really start to happen then, presumably, because people can save patches and do whatever.
Yeah. It's really the biggest demand that we had. We have to have something to make it possible to program my own patches, or just to adapt something, because the markers, they were comfortable, but it's not the same feeling. If you really want that specific analog sound and play with it, it's kind of a bummer that it wasn't possible until now, but we really work on that in the long run as well.
Okay, so that's exciting news about the editors. I'm looking forward to that. We're going to take it back now and have a look at the external software instruments that it integrates with.
Yeah, lots of stuff happening there as well. But there I'd like to profit from the bigger size 61 keys to play away on this.
So, Chris, we talked a little bit about a MIDI controller mode. And now you've got this hooked up to the computer. We're playing some of those instruments we talked about. Right?
Yeah, sure, because we vastly expanded the ecosystem on the side of external software as well. The goal is to maintain the same interaction that we have with the internal engine as well, but just to offer a different palette of sounds. So first off, this was done with our own software synthesizer plugins. First off, there's Noisy 2. One thing that is pretty cool about it is that you have this visualizer on the screen where you can see exactly what I'm doing. So the pressure and the aftertouch, and even some advanced interactions like the lift. If you see these little peaks, so you can play like this.
like a slightly broken one of those organs you see at a street organ. Isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
I remember I saw this at Super Booth and I was really impressed with the modulation capabilities. It's really sort of designed to pair nicely with the Osmose, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's kind of a closed box with the Osmose when it comes to the internal engine. For now, it's going to change. It was nice to have something that you can easily program. So you will always have like the interaction with the pressure, with the aftertouch that you could set with these modulations, rings, and you've got the 2 layers. And it's all based around noise that excites resonators. But I just want to have a brief look at all the stuff that we offer. Recently, we came out with a string plugin as well. It's called Solist. So you got contrabass, cello, viola, and violin. And
these are mono voices, aren't they?
These are mono voices. That's important. We hope to be able to add double stops, triple stops in the future, but for now it's all monophonic. But still, it plays really nicely because you're taking control of the bow yourself. So. It's just, you got that natural feeling.
It's really terrifyingly authentic, isn't it?
Yeah, well.
And these, you've got yes, cellos, violas, and contrabass and whatnot. So there's a suite of these, right?
Yeah, exactly. So next thing I want to show you is something that is really, really new. So we want to go into that direction, offering more acoustic instruments as well. So we work together with the company Acoustic Samples, and we'll bring MAESTRO brass ensembles at your fingertips. Well, in a few weeks, I hope. And this is actually based on sampling, but they really did a great job at phase aligning all the stuff so that it sounds natural and can be played expressively like this.
Oh, that's nice.
So just the blast to play.
And it's really interesting because when you see media composers specifically writing with stuff like that, usually they're using a fader for all that expression, but now you can have that.
Yeah, you can do it from your fingertips, so it goes from very quiet to very loud at the same time.
And this is coming out soon, right?
Yeah, some weeks. We're still working on that, but we're looking forward to this. And these are the stuff, the plugins that we offer ourselves. Yeah, but at the same time, we expanded the system, the ecosystem to other manufacturers as well. So till now, we've partnered with Kilohertz, Faceplant, like a modular, semi-modular synthesizer, very easy to program, very flexible. We've did work with Yuhi for Hive 2, modern analog type of thing. With Synapse Audio, we actually collaborated on 2 titles now, for the Legend HZ and for Dune 3. We've worked together with Dawson Music for Myth, and all these things, they're called expressive suites. So what do we do?
So yeah, what does that mean, the collaboration? You just give them sort of, this is what we can send you, give us something to control kind of thing, right?
Yeah, so at first we opened a discussion with the developer to make sure that the engine works well with MPE, and if there's some stuff that has to be added, we ask, and hopefully they, well, in these cases, they made the changes if there were any necessary. And then our sound design team that has the experience since 10 years or so comes up with sounds programmed for this. And if you buy the synthesizer at the same price from us as from the regular, from other resellers, you get those MPE sounds that work perfectly well with Osmose for free.
Right, gotcha.
Along with that, and if you don't own, well, if you already own the title, you can buy it as a sound pack. So it's always like 100 to 300, 400 presets that you can get. It just expands all the ecosystem. And the thing that we're building in the long run, which is also going to be interesting for Osmose owners generally, is an MPE sounds collection database where you have access to all these, our own plugins and the Expressive suites as well. Always a collection, like a dozen or 2 dozens of presets.
So load the engines that are required to play.
You have all this available, and there's going to be like a demo version where you have the excerpt from it. That's going to be free for all Osmose users as well. So you don't get all the sounds, but you get a sneak peek at all the different.
Well, it makes sense because having a controller like this that adds so much potential to a lot of instruments, you want to make that as open as possible and kind of encourage people to, to play like this. I mean, it's a really interesting thing. I mean, playing polyphonic aftertouch is one thing. Playing something which has this level of expression, you sort of have to have a go at it to kind of understand how it feels under the fingertips. And we can show you, but it's very much about getting your hands on it, I think.
It's not enough to just have the buzzword MPE. You really have to make sure that the sounds react well to your playing interface as well. And this is what we try with all the Expressive suites. And just one thing that just came out yesterday, I think, we also worked on electric keyboards, vintage keyboards with applied acoustics systems with a lounge lizard. So we wanted this time to really expand naturally on the sound of the regular vintage 70s piano, and can sound like this.
With bend as well, nice. How interesting. I mean, not only is it incredibly dynamic because it's modeled rather than sampled, but being able to bend is sort of...
I mean, it's kind of a balancing act to still stay close to the original, but we think we did an interesting job of just expanding a little bit so you can have your little bands, your little tremolo effects. So it's really quite nice.
Yeah,
check it out.
So lots of stuff going on with Expressive E then.
Yeah, for sure. So I hope to give you a good overview of what's happening. So the ecosystem is evolving in many ways. And in the end, the goal is really that on the one hand, you have the player who wants to have the best expressive interface to play with, just to profit from all the technique that you already have. At the same time, you have those that want to program their own sounds. And we got something up our sleeves for this as well to make it more accessible and don't only have the joy of interacting with a sound, but also have the ways to program it. And on the same hand, we're going to expand the different sounds, all the soundscapes, the palette of sounds, so that the producer has got something to play with as well, even if she is not a super good keyboard player.
And I guess that's interacting with sort of third-party and other software instruments that you've got also.
Yeah.
So the Osmose 61, when's that available and how much is it going to be?
It's going to be available really soon. So it's already in the warehouses around the world waiting to be shipped.
What about price?
$19.99 is what we're aiming at. So as opposed to the $17.99.
Is that dollars and euros or?
That's dollars and euros. Well, obviously there's also going to be some differences depending on where you are, but that's the regular price, yeah.
So aside from that, that extra octave just gives you much more playing surface, really, huh?
Yeah.
The 49 remains unchanged. You can still get those, right?
Yeah, so we really maintain the partnership with Harken Audio for years to come. So the people who have the very first Osmose they came out, they're still going to be able to profit from all the operating system upgrades, the DSP upgrades, the new editors, and so on.
Excellent.
That's important for us.
Thank you very much for coming, Chris.
My pleasure, Nick.
I hope you'll be able to play us out with a bit of your lovely playing. That's it for this time. Thank you very much.